I'm tired of seeing process improvement teams fail. Over and over again, I see process improvement teams get stood up, go out and get certifications, be really strict about how they're using the tools and the tools that they're using, only to have challenges or obstacles that get in their way and they're unable to achieve their goals, not just as an organization, but the people participating in the program. They get upset and frustrated and lost along the way. Now, there are some things that I've seen that are consistent in organizations, behaviors in organizations that are toxic to our process improvement programs. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, the four cardinal sins of process improvement. I'm Amanda Zimmerman. This is my series Unstuck, where we go deeper into what makes process improvement teams work so that you can have your team winning instead of spinning, so that you're actually seeing a return on your investment in your process improvement programs. In today's episode, I'm going to talk more about these four cardinal sins of process improvement. And we're going to go deeper into each one in the subsequent videos. So if you do want to talk more about what do you do if these are present, it is likely that you'll come across these or see these. So you will have to navigate organizations that have these challenges. Now, these challenges are honestly the bane of my existence. When I see this, I just cringe for the people working under that team or within that organization because I know that there's going to be places that they struggle. What type of process improvement teams does this apply to? So, when I'm talking about these issues and how to build an awesome team, what I'm actually talking about is internal process improvement teams. So, if you're a consultant going into businesses, these are going to be quite different for you, these challenges. They may be similar, but your opportunity to address them or deal with them is going to be quite different. So, what I'm talking about here is internal process improvement teams that have come together to work on projects and show benefit to the organization. What I often see is people go out, they get their green belt certification, and they never see any tangible benefits for their organization. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to make sure that you're set up for success so that you can keep getting that return on investment, that you're able to achieve those goals. Now, not just for the organization, but professionally, the satisfaction, the pride that you feel when you're actually able to achieve a goal and actually able to demonstrate that with benefit can be quite career changing. So I want that for you. I want that for your team. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at these different cardinal sins, at these toxic organizational behaviors that will sink your program. As I said, these are the bane of my existence. And the first item in that is believing in magic. So organizations that believe in magic, they expect an individual to achieve often an ambiguous goal without resources or SME support. So often they'll say, hey, Jake, we're going to go get you green belt certified. And then we're going to take Jake and we're going to put him within a team and say, hey, transform human resources. Now, nobody in human resources might have the time to work on the project. Nobody in human resources might be on board with the idea to make the changes, but Jake is supposed to go in there and magically he's going to wave his Lean Six Sigma wand and everything's going to be better. Now, can Jake make improvements? Absolutely. Absolutely. He can find ways to make improvements. He can find ways to get the team on board, but you've not set Jake up for success. Jake is most likely going to struggle. It's unlikely he'll be able to show any tangible benefits with data because he's not engaging with that team. The second item is adhering to tradition. Now, this is when we apply the tools as we learn them or as they were originally designed for manufacturing, but there's no flexibility or adaptability for current conditions. So let's say we have Jane, and Jane decided to go out and get her white belt from her internal process improvement team. She went to the training. They asked her to do a project. She did the project. When she submitted it, they said, oh, well, your process map actually needs to be like this. Well, your fishbone isn't exactly right. You need to go back and make all of these changes. And then she makes those changes, she resubmits it, and they say, actually, you didn't save enough benefit. Now let's talk about what the goal is of a white belt program. Now, obviously, one of the goals is to make money, is to show benefit. But at a white belt level, you're getting an awareness of continuous or process improvement. So the expectation that the person would save a certain amount of money or achieve a certain goal, that goes way beyond that level of awareness. Is it really going to benefit your organization to have people that are early adopters, that are excited, that are eager, that are out there pursuing their projects and doing their best and coming to you for support, and then you're shutting them down? Now, in my experience, what happens to Jane in that situation is she often gives up. She often walks away. She often has no interest in continuing with process improvement. And that's what we want to avoid, right? We want to make sure that we're creating people that are passionate and excited about improving things, and we want them to tell us about it, right? In our process improvement programs, not only do we want them to do it, we want them to document it and tell us about it. If we're going to be that strict at the beginning, who's going to want to participate? How are we going to get that support? This is a marketing game at the beginning. So doing that is going to really, really make your program struggle. So organizations that adhere to tradition too tightly, to process improvement traditions, to manufacturing traditions, are going to struggle to see their program move forward. They're going to lose that people side, that passion side, that change management piece is going to be lost. Number 3, ignorant leadership. Disinterest or lack of knowledge and information to support and engage in the program. Often leaders say, hey, we're going to set up this team. They go ahead, they hire the people, and they say, kind of like that believe in magic, I'm going to make this team. I put this team out here. Now they're just going to magically do this. I don't need to participate. I don't need to know anything. Now, this is really going to set you up for challenges and possibly failure, because the leadership team should be really giving you the strategic direction. They should be helping you understand what are the projects that you should be focused on, and they should want updates on those programs. They should also be the ones helping you to break down barriers. So if there are obstacles for you to be able to make changes, such as getting on an agile sprint, maybe the agile calendar is very full. And whenever you have improvements for your projects, you can never actually get them onto the sprint. Well, that leader should be there to say, this is something that we value, and 5% of each sprint is going to go to process improvements. Or we're going to advocate for this item to go higher so that we can close that project. That's where you need your leaders. You also want them to be engaging in lean leadership. You want them to be showing those behaviors of process improvement and showing that they value that to the whole organization. Because what you're really building here is a culture shift in the organization. And how could you possibly build a culture shift if leadership is disinterested or doesn't even know what process improvement is? Right? So ignorant leadership is another one of those toxic behaviors that are going to sink your program. Next, nefarious intent. Ooh, sounds very scary. What this is utilizing information and program benefits to pursue goals that negatively impact internal employees. So let's say we have Susan, and we have been talking to Susan over and over again for a project. We finally got her on board, and now she's participating in one of our projects. As a result of her participation, we've seen a huge reduction in the number of hours that people on her team need to spend on some of their tasks. When we report this to management, they say, great, and then they cut Susan's team in half. They lay off half of her team. Is this something I've seen? Absolutely. Absolutely. Organizations using the benefits from these projects to make changes that negatively impact the employees in that team. Now, one result of this can be unionization, right? So the team now decides that they want to join a union. Or if they're part of a union, the union now says, please don't ever participate in these projects again, right? They want to protect their people. So if you go in with that intent, or if that intent that becomes the intent along the way, that's going to sour people from wanting to participate in your program. That's going to end that interest and passion that people had to get involved and to make work better. You're a team that's working together to make work better. As soon as you're part of the corporate arm that's just out to cut heads, that's going to be really negative. Now, this is particularly focused on internal teams, right? So if you're an internal process improvement team, 100%, this is my advice, is to not have that nefarious intent. Let the external consultants make those types of decisions. Let the external consultants run the projects that find that data, right? And that's going to help you keep a barrier around your program so that people don't associate your program with those other initiatives. And that's going to be really important, because if you don't, that's a toxic behavior that's going to go ahead and infect the organization, and people aren't going to want to participate. Right? So those are our 4 cardinal sins of process improvement: believing in magic, adhering to tradition, ignorant leadership, and nefarious intent. In my next videos, we're going to go into each of these in a little bit more detail, both in terms of how you can recognize it, some of the questions that you can ask, as well as what can you do if you are seeing these within your organization. Is this something that you can overcome? Or is this something that maybe is an indicator to you that you don't want to be a part of that program or don't want to stay in that organization? Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm Amanda, and my organization, Beautiful Opportunities, offers coaching and workshops to help support you. If you're interested in connecting, please feel free to reach out to me on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We're on all of those to help you make work better. Happy improving.